and I'll give you the key. It's easy. Just keep on hopping, keep on rocking, and don't start stopping. It's everything you need just to walk the scene. And if you wanna make it big, you give it to me, I'll grace it. I believe for you, you wouldn't believe what I see in you. So don't stop, don't let the dream drop hop. Hold up and make it lovely, make it real, and make it yours. Don't stop.
Hello and good morning, friends. I'm so happy you decided to join me for another episode. Today, I will be flying solo because I had a few things that I wanted to talk about that I think a lot of people overlook. And I have been kind of really getting into deep thought about this because I coach a lot of people, and a lot of people want to go from 0 to 100 as fast as they can when it comes to starting their health journey. And what they don't realize is a lot of times they're skipping the very basics of what it takes to start getting healthy, losing weight, and being your best self. And then it also kind of got sparked by my husband and I having a conversation. So my husband is pretty big into doing like Spartan races and healthy eating and things like that. Wasn't always that way. When we decided to start our health journey about 6 years ago, he thought I was freaking crazy. And then when he started getting healthy too and started eating this healthy food, no longer had back pain, no longer had a hard time sleeping. His energy was better. His body composition changed. All of a sudden, it was like light bulb. And then he was on board. Now, when I say he was on board, he's not as determined, as focused as me. He does occasionally go out for cheats and treats or the occasional donut. But for the most part, he lives a pretty darn healthy lifestyle, probably 80% healthier than most of our current nation. He's also got into doing Spartan races and moving his body because he could tell how much of a difference that made on how well he felt. Well, in his 11 years at his workplace, his fellow coworkers have seen him change because he went from the previous him before we started our health journey, who was a little bit overweight, had a big pot belly, didn't feel great, into this skinny guy that's running races and doing all this stuff and is in great shape. And they also know that he's huge into health and all of that stuff. So now everybody comes to him with wanting to ask health questions because they've seen this change, right? And it's amazing how you can have this impact on people that are around you. They see you make changes and all of a sudden you inspire them to start asking questions and you inspire them to start thinking of what they can do to get healthy. And so you don't know the impact you're having on the people around you as well. But my husband has been doing Spartan races the last couple of years. He recently has done a few trifectas. If you don't know what a trifecta is, it is every single race they have all in one weekend, which is extremely difficult. It's like 35 or 40 miles. And it's not just like a flat marathon type of deal. These have obstacles in them. I think there's 60 in the big one. I've done a couple Spartans. I've never done the big beast, and I've never done all three in one weekend, but my husband has gotten big into that. So anyhow, it's been really, really great. He's definitely made some changes with that. And so now he's like trying to get everybody else to do it too. So he's like the Spartan rallier. He's getting our neighbors to do them with him. Him and our neighbor did a trifecta. Our son did a trifecta with him. He's trying to get anybody he can to go do these Spartan races because he has learned his first one, he ended up walking almost the whole thing, but he finished it and he was proud. And that inspired him to do more. And so recently, a man at his work came up to him and he's like, "You should do the Spartan race with me." And the guy was like, "Why would I do that?" He's like, "I couldn't ever do that." And he's like, "Yeah, you could. All you have to do is walk it." And the guy was like, "Well, what's the point of walking it?" And my husband was like, "Because it inspires you to do it. Like you have an end goal. You have to finish something." And that led them into this deep conversation about my husband looking at him and being like, "Listen," he's like, "you wouldn't know this just by thinking of it right now." He's like, "But I'm willing to bet you if you got out and you walked a mile every single day, no matter what the weather is, no matter how you're feeling, you got out and walked a mile every single day, it would change your life." And the guy was like, yeah, right. It's just a mile. I don't even know what you're talking about. And this is a gentleman that is overweight and has some major health problems. And my husband was like, yeah, it would change your life. And my husband and I started diving into why it would be so life changing to go out and walk a mile every day. So we were chatting in it in the car on the way home. And I was like, yeah, not only from a health benefit of getting out, getting in the fresh air, getting away from electronics, getting in the sun, getting in the weather, letting your body take that in, getting that movement in, which is huge when it comes to stress relief, when it comes to releasing endorphins, when it comes to moving your body and increasing your insulin sensitivity, moving sugar around, really amazing. But think of it this way, not just these benefits. How about from a discipline benefit? Teaching your body that you can do something even when you don't want to, that you can do something every day consistently and turn it into a habit. Proving to yourself that you're capable of doing something that you may not have been able to do before. These are all really, really important things. Discipline is huge. People ask me all the time, they're like, Connie, how do you get all these things done? I'm not just some super motivated, extremely disciplined person. And I wasn't always this person that just went after my goals. I mean, to an extent it was there, but for the most part, I was pretty darn lazy. I was overweight. I was unhappy with my life. And even when we started on our GAPS diet journey, I literally cleaned all my food up and was extremely disciplined about that because I knew it needed to happen. It was at that point. If you don't know my story, I'm happy to re-elaborate it, or I can send you an episode that goes over it all, but it had to happen. So there was really no choice at that point. So that changed my life drastically by having to be disciplined and change something. But then I remember that pivotal moment, like a year in, I had lost all this weight. I was down 50 pounds. I was 197 pounds. I was down to like 140. And eventually, after like a year, I got down to 120. But I remember looking in the mirror and being skinny and having like really loose, soft skin and cellulite. And I remember at the time I had started reading some books by like David Goggins, Can't Hurt Me, Jocko Willink, talking about discipline. And here I was reading all these things, but I was extremely undisciplined. And I remember it was like this pivotal moment where I looked in the mirror and I knew something had to change. And it couldn't be like all the changes of the past. I had dieted 1,000 times. It had failed 1,000 times. I had tried everything. I had tried the Slim Fast diet and the Special K diet, and I had tried these fat burning pills and like every single thing that you can think of. Starvation diet. I mean, crap, for like a year, I ate only 1,000 calories and I didn't lose hardly any weight because of metabolic adaptation. Now I look back at that and I'm like, oh my gosh, that was so silly. But I digress. Anyways, I tried every single form of diet out there, an instant fix, everything you can think of. And finally, it was like that pivotal moment where I looked in the mirror and I was like, holy shit, light bulb. The only person that is going to change this is you. And I had that talk with that person in the mirror. And that means you are going to have some discipline. Even on days when you don't feel like doing shit, you're going to have to do it. And that was the beginning. That was the beginning of this huge, amazing thing. That was the beginning of me waking up 3:30 or 4:30 in the morning, depending on what my work schedule was, and making stuff happen, making my nutrition happen, making workouts happen. My workouts started out basic, guys. They were not crazy. I would do 3 sets of squats, 3 sets of push-ups, 3 sets of sit-ups, and call it good. Over time, that did grow. Yes, it did, because it became a habit and I realized it was easy to add on to that. It grew and grew. It grew into me having a gym in my office, like taking everything out of my office and putting a bench press and a bunch of weights in there, and moved into body part splits, and then moved into me going to the gym because I wanted more. And when I first started that journey, I didn't love it every day. I didn't jump out of bed and the birds weren't singing and I flipped everything around, grabbed some weights and started like having a great time. No, that's not how it was. The alarm went off and I was like, oh my God. And part of my resolution on into getting disciplined was not hitting the snooze button. So I got up I grabbed a weight, kettlebell, started working out, started doing push-ups, started doing squats, started doing sit-ups. Then I got ready for work. Little did I know that would grow into something I couldn't live without. Literally. Do I want to go work out at the gym every day? Not necessarily. Like, for example, yesterday I had a really hard workout. Today, I'm hurting pretty good. I know I have another really hard workout today because they're max effort days. I'm training for worlds. Got to put the effort in. Guess what? I don't feel it really today. I mean, I want to go to the gym, but then part of me is like, oh my gosh, this is going to suck because I hurt so bad. And then part of me is like, no, let's change that thinking around. It's not going to suck. It's going to be awesome. It's getting you that much closer to your goal. It turned into this habit that I can't live without. I love to do it every day. I love to go in there. I can't imagine my time without going to the gym. Whenever I say I'm going to take a break from the gym for a while, it doesn't happen because it's part of me. It's become part of my life over 6 years of discipline. Not every day was a day where I wanted to go, but I did. I got out and moved my body. And that's where I kind of wanted to go with this podcast today is I have so many clients coming to me or people that I'm currently working with. They want to know the magic thing that it is going to take to help them change their body composition, help them change their life, get healthier, get their lab work better. And they start thinking big, right? They think workouts. They think we've got to go to the gym. We've got to get our nutrition perfect. We got to track our macros. What they forget about is the basics. Can you do the basics? Can you get quality sleep every night? Can you reduce stress in your life? Can you drink a gallon of water a day? Can you get your meals in every day? Just basic meals. Like we're not talking, perfectly prepped, nothing. You know what we're talking about? The basics. We're talking about actually eating a breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snack and getting a sufficient amount of healthy calories in. Can you do that? For most people, no. They can't even hit the basics, yet they want to skip forward and they want to start doing all the hard things. And then next thing you know, they skipped all the basics. They forgot how to learn how to do the thing right the first way. And then they jump into this crazy workout program. And what happens? It fails. Why? Because they skipped learning the basics. So if you want to get started on your health journey, I beg you, it doesn't have to be something big. It can be basic. Pick some things that you want to make an absolute in your life. Is it getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep? Put it on the list. Is it drinking a gallon of water a day? Put it on the list. Is it going for a mile walk every single day? Put it on the list. Until you can execute those things perfectly and properly, you probably shouldn't be moving on to the next step. Once those become a habit, they're ingrained in your schedule and they're easy and you feel like it's attainable to do that every single day, add on. Okay, maybe now we're going to eliminate gluten. Maybe now we're going to eliminate processed sugars. Maybe now we're going to do 3 sets of squats before we go on our walk. Maybe now we're going to stop at that park bench, like our buddy Brad Kern said, and do our push-ups or our little calisthenics routine. Let that grow, but be disciplined with what you decide to do, because that is one of the major pieces of this puzzle. You can't just write it off. If you have goals, you've got to reach them. And I guess I told my husband recently, because I started with a new coach and things have gotten pretty extreme as far as my nutrition and my nutrition timing and my lifestyle. And my husband was like, bummer, no more date nights. Like you were eating so freely. Now I'm on a meal plan, right? I'm on a super strict meal plan. Is it stuff that I love? Not necessarily. Like for breakfast, I'm eating ground beef and a couple vegetables. But the difference between reaching your goals is putting away what you want now for what you want most. Can I go eat a meal? Yeah, it'll be there when I'm done prepping for Worlds. But for now, I need to optimize. For now, I know what my goal is. My goal is to be a world champion powerlifter. Will that happen? I don't know. We'll see. I find it a little funny because I literally did an Instagram live like 6 months ago or 8 months ago now, I guess. It must have been 8 months ago, where I was like, I'm going to do a powerlifting meet, even though I have no idea what I'm doing, right? I have no idea, but I'm pushing myself outside of my comfort zone. And even though I don't feel like I'm ready, I'm going to do it anyway. Look what it turned into. I'm looking back at that and I'm like, had I have not gotten outside of my comfort zone and had I have not allowed myself that moment to be a beginner and that opportunity to potentially fail, I would never be where I am now. And now I'm going to one of the biggest powerlifting things out there, which is amazing. And I might do well, I might not, but you want to know what? I only have one opportunity to go. It may be the only opportunity I ever have. And I can tell you what, it is one of my main goals to do the best that I can right now. And if that involves putting aside a couple of things in my day-to-day life in order to make that happen, even if I might want them now, might satisfy me now, is it going to satisfy me in the end when I don't reach my goal? Putting aside the things you want now for the things you want most. For me, I think being a very successful powerlifter seems like something that I want most. That may change. That's okay if it changes, but don't sacrifice your goals for the short-term things. A lot of things take long-term discipline in order to reach them, and then things can change after that. And don't treat things like the Last Supper mentality. The diet starts Monday. Come on, guys. That's bullshit. The diet doesn't need to start Monday. Okay. Like it's like Last Supper mentality. Diet starts Monday. So let's pig out on Sunday. Let's pig out on Saturday. Let's eat and stuff our faces all weekend. That's not going to get you anywhere. You know what that gets you? That gets you mental health problems. That gets you this restriction in your brain. That gets your brain going, whoa, wait, she's going to starve me now. So I better not burn any calories. And then you get in this binge and restrict cycle. No, how about let's start today? Let's start today. There's always going to be a birthday. There's always going to be a barbecue. I assure you, there's always going to be something. It doesn't matter if it's summer, winter, fall, something is always going to come up. But when you set a goal, you need to hold yourself accountable. I literally posted on Instagram about this yesterday. I have a sticky note on my refrigerator that I have had there for 6 whole years. And that sticky note, it says, the pain of discipline weighs ounces, where the pain of regret weighs tons. And I put that in front of myself and I look at it every day. Yeah. Can I go out and have a cheat meal or miss a workout? I sure can. But I'm going to regret it when I get to that end goal and it doesn't happen the way that I wanted it to happen. Yes, we do need to enjoy some things in life, but we also need to learn to have discipline. And sometimes, for the sake of that, it involves temporarily not enjoying things. So I leave you guys with this. Couple of things, actually. Doesn't matter where you start, just start and make sure that you can get consistent with it. You don't need to go into the gym 5 days a week, crush it, crush yourself, and can't wait to be done with it. Set small goals. Gallon of water, 1 mile walk a day, 20 minutes. I don't care what it is. 20-minute walk a day. You can do 1 mile in 20 minutes. No problem. Every day. Be consistent. Get proper sleep. Start with some of the basics. Maybe remove gluten. That's one of my favorites, by the way, if you haven't noticed. Do the basic things. But if you set a goal, hold yourself accountable to it. Write it on a dang sticky note. Stick it on your mirror. Look at it every day. Buy one of those chalk pens on Amazon. Write it on your door. Write it on your mirror. Write it on your microwave. I don't really care. But reaching your goals is going to require some amount of discipline. Hold yourself accountable. Don't let things slide in, because then you make compromises and you compromise yourself right out of reaching your goals. It comes down to, are you obsessed with it? Yes. How bad do you really want it? Well, Obviously not bad enough if you're making compromises like that. Don't let anybody take your goals away from you. They're your goals. Push hard, work hard, do what you can to achieve them. All right, folks, that's all I've got for you today. I do want to say, please check out drinklmnt.com/Connie to get yourself a free sample pack of LMNT electrolytes. They are my favorite. I drink them every single day, and so I can't talk about that enough. Also, Steel Body Apparel, Connie 10 gets you 10% off. They are a wonderful local company. They have the best joggers ever. I'm actually currently wearing them. I have several pairs. They're so soft. My favorite pants, people probably think I wear the same pants all the time, but I literally have 3 pairs of the same kind of pants because I love them so much. So go check those guys out. I appreciate you guys joining me today. Don't let anything steer you away from your goals. Hold yourself accountable. It's me signing off.